Heart pounding, Heuti clutched the book and ran back toward the cave, searching for truth where only a dragon could give it. The cave exhaled cold air as Heuti entered, his footsteps echoing through the stone corridors. Merkabah emerged from the shadows, immense, ancient, watching.
Merkabah, I found something. It says here that you guys were all wiped out by knights, dragon slayers.
Heuti opens the book, hands shaking. For a moment, the cave held its breath. Then everything exploded. Merkabah's rage. With one swipe of his massive claw, Merkabah knocked the book from Heuti's hands. Smoke poured from the dragon's nostrils. Heuti fell to the ground as heat washed over him.
Only a foolish European would believe he can slay a dragon.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
The arrogance of men knows no end. For centuries they rewrite history to glorify themselves.
Merkabah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to understand.
It is not your fault, little one. But if you truly want understanding, if you seek the truth behind dragons, behind men, behind the ancient world, then I must take you far back, far before knights, far before kingdoms, far before your history began. Sit, Heuti. Listen well. For to know what happened to my kind, you must first know what happened to your world.
And so, beneath the roar of underground winds and the glow of shifting cave light, the story began. A journey into ages long buried and truths long hidden.
Sit, Heuti. You want the truth? Then you must understand the ancient world far beyond anything your teachers, your churches, or your books ever told you.
I'm listening. I didn't know the book would make you so mad.
Of course you didn't know. That is why you must learn. The conquest of the European war with our tribe in ancestor for thousands of years, replacing old gods with new gods, but the principle stills remain the same. They took biblical history and plagiarize it with real-world history and deceive the nation for hundreds of years.
Merkabah's eyes dim, glowing like dying stars. Symbols flicker across the cave walls. Egyptian glyphs, Phoenician ships, desert storms and ruins swallowed by time.
Let's start with the Egyptian land. Your world never explains correctly. But eventually the Persians came. They conquered the region. Then the Greeks came, and they conquered the Persians.
So, all lands were the Egyptians? The Bible makes it sound like it was always their struggle.
That is the deception. The lands the Bible mentions, Hittites, Jebusites, Perizzites, were African territories. The book rewrote history and switched the names to confuse the masses, to justify conquest, genocide, slavery.
Mages flash, armies crossing deserts, Egyptian ships unloading goods, African peoples trading across the Mediterranean.
During the 5th century BC, is around the time when the Persians took the land of Tyre and Phoenicians. That entire region, the lands you now call the Middle East, was once filled with African presence, Egyptian culture, Egyptian trade, Egyptian knowledge. And the Phoenicians? They were the bridge. They spread the culture of Kemet everywhere.
So that means their artifacts should be everywhere, right?
And they are. You can go into Spain today and find artifacts from the Phoenician period. In North Africa, in Cyprus, in Greece, all across the Mediterranean, you find their goods, their symbols, their trade routes.
And all of that comes from Egypt.
Yes, because the Phoenicians were part of Egypt's world. They were sailors, builders, merchants, Africans, spreading African culture across the ancient world. That is why their artifacts appear everywhere, because they were everywhere.
The cave walls show maps shifting. Egypt at the center, radiating trade routes like glowing veins across the sea.
This is why their existence is undeniable. Their artifacts, the pottery, the carvings, the dyes, the tools, are found across continents. Real history proves who they were, but rewritten history hides who they belonged to. The Greeks lived among the Egyptians for thousands of years. Everyone came to Egypt to learn the mystery of spirituality.
Then why did they take their lands?
Greed, materialistic, and spiritual immaturity. The land Tyre, the ancient African Phoenician land, a city the Bible claims God destroyed, but history tells another story. It wasn't God. It was the Persians first, then the Greeks. Most of all, Alexander. Alexander, the one they call the Great, slaughtered thousands, enslaved others, and rewrote history in his own image.
Images ripple across the glowing cave walls. Stone cities burning, armies marching, scrolls burning in flames.
When Alexander destroyed Tyre, he built a causeway from the rubble of the mainland, stone by stone, to conquer the island city. 30,000 people massacred, the rest sold into slavery. The Roman has a monument there to this day. Contribute to Alexander the Freak, the Greek. That's real history. But in the Bible, they lie. In your scriptures it says, Ezekiel 26, 3-6. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus, and will cause many nations to come up against thee, as the sea causeth his waves to come up. And they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus, and break down her towers. I will also scrape her dust from her, and make her like the top of a rock. It shall be a place for the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea. For I have spoken it, saith the Lord God. And it shall become a spoil to the nations, and her daughters which are in the field shall be slain by the sword, and they shall know that I am the Lord. That's your scriptures explaining how they will conquer African lands. That's how you know the Greek wrote the Bible. They stole history, distorted it, so they can interject their self into it. And while all this was happening, another story appeared, not in history, in a book written much later, claiming Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Tyre, a lie. Nebuchadnezzar died centuries earlier. He never touched Tyre, but the Greeks, the creators of the Bible, inserted his name to hide their crimes. They wrote themselves as gods, the Lord, the Most High, the one who destroys nations, but they were only men. Now listen carefully, because this is the part history don't want you to understand. Back in the Sign of Satan series, when we broke down Alexander the Greek, we touched the edges. But now, we go beneath the surface, deeper into the ancient deception. You see, Tyre wasn't destroyed because the city was wicked. Tyre wasn't destroyed because God sent some holy judgment. No, Tyre was destroyed because of a man who proclaimed himself to be a god. And when you open Ezekiel 28, something strange happens. The text starts talking to the king of Tyre, but suddenly the language shifts. It becomes cosmic, symbolic, almost supernatural. The prophet starts describing wings, jewels, precious stones, and a fall from heaven. He's talking about the king of Tyre, but he's also talking about Satan, a merging, a comparison, a riddle. And when you trace that symbolism back through time, back through myth, back through the cultures that wrote these scriptures, only one man fits all the clues. Alexander. Think about it. Look at his story. Alexander's mother, Olympias, claims she was seduced not by a man, but by Zeus, the god of gods. But in the mythology, Zeus doesn't just appear as light or as a man. He often appears as a serpent, a reptile, a dragon-like being. Greek artists carved it into their stone, painted it onto their pottery, told the story to their children. A serpent god descending upon a woman, a child born from that union, a child declared the Son of God. And that child grew to conquer nations, enslave cities, overthrow empires, all while proclaiming he himself was divine. Now connect the dots. Ezekiel 28 describes a king who believes he is a god, a ruler dressed in jewels, a man tied to the serpent, a figure elevated to divine status, and then cast down. There is only one ancient king whose mother claimed a serpent god-father, whose artists carved him as divine, whose empire rose like a storm, and whose actions reshaped the world. And this is where it gets even deeper. Tyre, this powerful city on the Mediterranean, became the stage for the rise of European power. Its fall marked the beginning of a new era. From Tyre, we get the root of the word Europa. From Europa, we get Europe. From Europe, we get the empires that would come to dominate history. The Greeks, the Romans, the kingdoms of the West, all of them rising from the ashes of Tyre. So when Ezekiel connects the king of Tyre with the serpent, when the Bible merges this king with Satan, understand what the text is really pointing to. It's pointing to the birth of European power. It's pointing to the myth they built themselves upon. It's pointing to the exact moment where the ancient world shifted and a new world order began. A world order that still rules today.
Why do they just tell us without riddles and symbols, parables?
Universal law, Heuti. They have to tell you. They also explain to you in the Game of Thrones series with the Jon Snow character, with Bloodline of the Dragon. But you all rather be entertained.
No, I'm not a dream. I'm here. Right here.
I've missed you, Big Brother.
Miss you too.
I want to be brave.
You are?
I'm not. I don't want to die.
You're not going to die. And John? Get us some water.
No, not water, just
Is there a
listen.
mace there?
Listen to me, Ned.
John's real name.
His name is Aegon Targaryen. You have to protect him. If Robert finds out, he'll kill him. You know him. You have to protect him. Promise me, Ned. Promise me. Promise me, Ned. Promise me.
He's never been a bastard. He's the heir to the Iron Throne.